going on, YouTube? Long time no see. Welcome to a Man Cave Minute podcast. I'm your host, Steve V. Hope everyone's doing well out there, and I appreciate you guys coming into the Man Cave Arcade and hanging out with me for a little while. If you guys follow my channel and saw my community post, you guys know I've been on a bit of a hiatus. The hiatus isn't over. I just found a little bit of time tonight to come down to the Man Cave Arcade and kind of hang out with you guys. Just put my 3-year-old son to bed. My wife's putting our newborn to bed, who's only a month old. So this house has been quite busy. And like I said in the community post, it's hard to find time to kind of come down here and kind of, make videos. And honestly, it's not like I've really added a lot to the Man Cave Arcade. So there's not really too much to talk about. I do have something I'm going to mention in this video as far as an addition and kind of a collection that I started not too long ago, and I already found out that it's going to be coming to an end next year, and I'll explain to you guys why that is. But other than that, I've kind of been in a situation where, especially with home arcade, I've kind of been a little out of the loop. I have been getting a little bit of info on what's going on here and there. And obviously it sounds like the home arcade space is getting a lot more exciting. The last thing I was kind of like plugged into as far as really knowing like pretty much all the info you could possibly know at the time about, those current products was Iconic Arcades, Street Fighter cabinets. That's the last time I was kind of really plugged in and really following, all the videos about that product. Though I have heard there is a chance that they got a cease and assist a little while ago. So that's kind of new news on that product, and I don't know how it's really going to affect that product going forward. But hopefully, they'll be able to kind of figure it out with Arcade 1-Up if that is the case. And they'll be able to, continue with their pre-orders. And I did see they were also going to be putting out some Double Dragon cabinets, the old Double Dragon, and I believe like a newer version of Double Dragon. So hopefully they'll be able to continue on with that one and all the other, cabinets that they are planning to do going forward. And then that kind of brings me to another company that's also kind of taking the torch from Arcade 1-Up and saying, we got it from here, we're going to start running, forward with, creating, new products, pretty much making what you've already done, hopefully doing it better, and kind of going a little further with, some newer titles. And that's a company called Basic Fun. Now, I don't know if you guys, well, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you guys are all up to date with what's going on with Basic Fun and kind of what they said they have planned for later on this year. And it seems like, again, they're going to be basically taking the torch, taking the baton from Arcade 1-Up and really being the next, home arcade juggernaut as far as, the big titles that we all know and love. So Basic Fun said that they're going to be doing a Pac-Man, which is no big surprise. Obviously, that's the big cash cow. They're going to be doing an Atari cabinet, which I guess is going to be a Centipede. They're going to be doing a Ninja Turtles cabinet, which I'm very excited for. One of my biggest regrets is selling my original Ninja Turtles cabinet from Arcade 1-Up. It's one of those cabinets that really had kind of a special place, in my heart as far as like nostalgia and just the memory of playing those games and the way that cabinet looked. And then I ended up selling it, and I ended up rebuying a Ninja Turtle cabinet not too long after that. But then I sold that one to get the updated version of the TMNT cabinet, which was the Turtles in Time cabinet. And though I liked that cabinet, it didn't have quite the significance as far as like the artwork. It just didn't really speak to me the exact same way. Though I did like that artwork because it was a cabinet that I also played as well. Actually more recent, because there is a place in my town that had that cabinet. that I've played, over the last like 10 years. But that original Ninja Turtle artwork, you can't get better than that, in my opinion. So I always kind of regretted selling my Arcade 1-Up cabinet with that artwork because Arcade 1-Up never made another version of it. So knowing that Basic Fun is going to be making a Turtles cabinet, I'm really hoping they do that artwork, and maybe that might give me a chance to kind of bring the Turtle cabinet back into the Man Cave arcade. They also said they're going to be making a Star Wars cabinet at some point, and they said the yoke was actually going to be better than Arcade 1-Up, so that will be interesting to see. And I think the last cabinet that they mentioned they were going to make is something that I'm actually quite excited for, and that's WWF WrestleFest. I don't know how they're going to do this cabinet. I don't know how they managed to get that license. I don't know what they're going to pair with that cabinet, but the fact that they were able to get WWF WrestleFest, which is now probably changed to WWE because obviously, for legal reasons, just the fact that they were able to get this game is astonishing in my opinion. So if they do deliver with these titles, I mean, they already got the titles, but if they do deliver and make a really good product, there's no way that this company is not number one in the home arcade space going forward. Supposedly they're going to be selling in all, normal retailers. I guess they're going to be making multiple different form factors. They're pretty much making every form factor that Arcade 1-Up has already made. And that's going to bring me to something else that I'm going to mention right at the end. But they're going to be doing a countercade. They're going to be doing the slimcade. They're going to be doing kind of like a deluxe version, which I forget the term they're calling it, but everyone's kind of saying it's going to be like almost like a deluxe. They're going to be doing like an XL version as well. That's going to be sold, through Costco and other, club stores. So it's pretty much, again, them kind of, doing what Arcade 1-Up has already kind of paved the way to do, but they're doing it with not only some of the same licenses, they're going to be, again, doing WWE WrestleFest. And they're also going to be adding more games to their cabinets, which is another exciting thing in my opinion, because though I've always been a fan of kind of like a middle point with the amount of games, like I never was happy when Arcade 1-Up was giving us like 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 games, but once they started giving us like 12, 14, I always liked that, because I felt like they gave you enough games where you felt like you had options, but they didn't give you too many games where you were like, what the hell am I going to play? And then you're spending all this time trying to figure out what game you want to play. Supposedly they're giving like 50 games or 60 games, something like that. I forget the exact amount, but it's going to be quite up there. I don't know if that's going to be the case with every cabinet, but there's definitely one cabinet at least that is supposedly going to have that amount of games from what I heard. So, I think 50 is like probably like a good max. I think anything past that, this is just my opinion. I think by that point, it's like you're going to kind of be lost with what you're going to play, or you're going to always play the same 10 to 12 games. So I feel like 50's a lot and definitely a good bang for your buck. But by that point, it's like, I think you're probably good. Again, my opinion. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what Basic Fun's going to do. Now, the products that they do these days are kind of on the cheaper side as far as like, quality. They're sold for like, 20-ish bucks, and I feel like they're more like $10-ish quality. So hopefully they do end up making a pretty good quality product. I feel like if they're going into the space, they kind of have no choice, because they know what their competition is. And that was, and again, I say was, Arcade 1-Up. The reason I say was is for 2 reasons. Number one, Arcade 1-Up hasn't done anything in a while, and it doesn't seem like they're really in a position where they're going to kind of be like the innovators and going forward with, like those really big time licenses, as far as like anything new. It seems like they're just sticking with what they have. They're just trying to kind of make their money back, kind of pay their debts, and kind of call it a day. But here's my second kind of point that I don't know. I heard somebody mention this and it kind of stuck with me ever since they mentioned it. And I think it was kind of a throwaway comment by them, but it really hit me as something that could potentially be true. And that is that maybe Arcade One Up has some connection to Basic Fun and they're kind of working together as partners to make these cabinets. The first reason I feel like that might be a possibility is the fact that they have some of the licenses that they have, like to have, the Turtles and to have, Atari and have, Pac-Man and Star Wars. Like these are all titles that Arcade One Up at one point had. I'm not saying that they still have them, but the fact that, Basic Fun has them now, I don't know. There's something there that's not fishy, but it's like, I don't know. Are they somehow kind of working together now? I'm not really sure. The other thing that gives me the vibe that they could be partners or at least working together is the fact that they're doing the exact same form factors, because you got this one company, Iconic Arcade, that is making a version of the XL and they got a cease and assist, but Basic Fun is saying that this is what they're doing, though we haven't actually seen a cabinet yet. But from what it sounds like, they're literally copying Arcade One Up's roadmap to the T as far as these form factors go. And again, using a lot of these licenses that Arcade One Up has already used, but we're not hearing any cease and assist in that, department. We're not really hearing anything about, Arcade One Up kind of having an issue with that. So I kind of feel like they might be partners. I'm not 100% sure, but again, it was a comment. I wish I could remember who said it. But because I'm kind of, just watching things kind of here and there, I'm not really following the home arcade space the way I used to. So when I do kind of watch things, sometimes it's shorts. Sometimes I'll watch little pieces of people's videos. So I can't remember who said that. But whoever did, I wish I could give them credit. Even though, again, I believe it was a throwaway comment by them. But to me, it was something that really stuck, and something that I feel might be potentially true. So time will tell, but I'm really excited to see what Basic Fun does. And again, the two cabinets that kind of entice me the most is the Turtles cabinet, if they do the original artwork. And if it is something that's similar to an Arcade One Up, I would love to have that back in my collection. If I believe the price is supposed to be for like their deluxe version, whatever they were calling it. I think it's supposed to be around $500. Here in Canada, it's probably going to be closer to $7 something. I don't know what the tariffs included. So it's got to be the right price, If it's for the right price, it might be something I'm interested in. If it's not the right price, maybe it's something that I might have to just kind of wait to see if the price goes down. And then maybe I might have to buy it on the secondary market. If somebody happens to buy it, puts it on Marketplace, we'll see. I'm just in a different place in my life where I'm not buying anything kind of over, $200, $300. Like that's kind of my max as far as like, spending things on like entertainment purposes, and like collection figures and stuff like that. And even that I feel is a little bit high. I'm again, a father of two, so my kids and my wife are kind of my main priority, and saving for their futures, saving for my future, my wife's future, so we can kind of live, in a comfortable situation. So, I'm very hesitant to spend a lot of money on some of these things that I spent that kind of money on before. But if it's a great product and it does end up kind of being something that logically fits that price, and then again, I might kind of wait to see if it goes a little bit down, maybe like a discounted price, on like Boxing Day or something like that. it might be something I would be interested in. So we'll see. We'll see. It's all a big waiting game. Even I can't say that I'm not interested to see what they do with Pac-Man as well. Obviously, behind me, I got the Pac-Man Deluxe and the Class of 1981. I would love to consolidate to get just one Namco cabinet if they do have like 50 Namco games on one cabinet, and especially if they have Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man on one cabinet, I would sell both of those and obviously just get the one. That would be best case scenario. But again, it's all a big mystery. We have to see what Basic Fun ends up doing, and it's going to be something I'm going to be paying attention to for sure. So as far as home arcade's concerned, that's kind of where I'm kind of at. Again, I'm kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out as far as like attention span, just because I got other things in my life that are kind of taking my attention. But I am kind of, watching here and there, and I will try to catch some videos from time to time. Other than that, when it comes to like collecting and really adding to the space, there hasn't been much of anything other than my McFarlane live action Batman collection. And with the McFarlane live action Batman collection, it's kind of been a little interesting. Some news dropped about maybe 2 weeks ago that unfortunately for me, because I just started collecting this McFarlane live action Batman collection a few years ago and was kind of hoping to get like the whole live action set. It was announced that McFarlane lost the DC license, and starting in 2026, Mattel will be taking over. They're going to have the master DC license. So pretty much what that comes down to is, I know that Mattel could kind of continue, the DC multiverse line that McFarlane's doing, but from what I've kind of heard with how Mattel kind of handled that license, in prior years when they had it, and knowing that they kind of go more 6-inch instead of 7-inch, which McFarlane does 7-inch, it sounds like in 2026. That's kind of when my collection will probably be coming to an end. So I'm really hoping that McFarlane kind of, puts the pedal to the metal, foot on the gas when it comes to just putting out whatever they kind of had planned for, the next like 2 years, and kind of somehow, get it in within this year. I think they still have the license for a little bit next year, like maybe like first quarter, and then after that it's gone. So I'm just really hoping that I kind of get what I'm looking for. I really want the Joker from Batman 89, though I heard that Jack Nicholson's likeness is very pricey, so I know that one is probably a long shot, but I'm hoping they do it because I do have Michael Keaton's Batman. I'm hoping that they do a Batman Returns wave. So, Michael Keaton's Batman with, the different, chest part. That's kind of the only thing that's really changed with the suit from, Batman 89 to Batman Returns. It's just a little bit kind of where in 89 they kind of went, more in a way where they were trying to make it look like actual muscles. In Batman Returns, they kind of made it look more like sleek, like an actual like bodysuit. So yeah, I'm hoping they make that Batman. I'm hoping they make Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, Danny DeVito's Penguin. Usually when they do the wave, they do 4. So I guess they could do like Christopher Walken's character, Max. I can't remember the last name of the character, but they could probably do those 4, and that is probably my 2 main things I'm looking for: the Joker and then that Batman Returns Build-A-Wave. I would also like a Bane from Batman and Robin. They've done every character from that movie except for Bane, so I would love to have Bane because that would kind of complete that set. And then there's two Batmobiles I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Justice League Batmobile, and I'm looking for the Batman 2022, like the newest Batman movie. They haven't done that Batmobile yet, so I'm hoping they do that. Once they do that, I pretty much have what I was looking for from my live action collection. But I know some of it's kind of like a long shot, so I'm gonna see what happens. And then in 2026, when Mattel takes over, if they continue the line and they make it look fairly similar to what McFarlane was doing and have it, as detailed, maybe I might continue collecting the Mattel line. But I know the chances are pretty slim. I know they're probably going to go back to 6-inch because obviously it's cheaper to make a smaller figure. And then, if that's the case, then I'm probably not going to collect Mattel. And then, it'll just be what it is, as far as what I have. And I keep everything in box. So pretty much, everything's going to be pristine. So if, down the line I do decide to sell them, I'll get, top dollar for them, which is great. But I think it's going to be something I'm going to keep because it's connected to nostalgia. It was really kind of a passion project, collecting these live action figures because all the live action movies are pretty much timestamps of certain moments in my life and just kind of what was going on in my life. A lot of the times I was playing with Batman figures and collecting Batman stuff during the time that those movies were around. Sometimes it was like figures at McDonald's. Sometimes it was Batman the Animated Series being kind of my main Batman show that I kind of grew up watching. That kind of like really built my interest in Batman. So when some of the other movies were coming out, I was even more amped for them. I also grew up watching the 66 TV show because reruns were playing in the morning before I went to school. So sometimes I would watch that. Just my love for Batman and specifically the live action stuff, though I am a huge fan of the animated series from the 90s. It's the live action movies that really keep me connected to Batman and have really grown with me over the years. So that's why those figures mean so much to me. And that's why I kind of call it a passion project as far as collecting. So it's just kind of a matter of wait and see and kind of see what McFarlane does. And hopefully they come out with those figures that I mentioned. If they don't, wherever they kind of, end it will be kind of where I might end it. Unless Mattel kind of continues the line and does it at the same quality and at the same scale that McFarlane's doing it at. So again, time will tell. But I'm eager to see, what McFarlane does. Every day I'm kind of, I have McFarlane on my Facebook page, so I'm always kind of watching what they do. I have some people on YouTube that I follow that, talk about McFarlane, so they kind of keep me in the loop as far as things that might be coming. As of right now, I got a couple things coming in the mail. I have a Scarecrow from Batman Begins coming. That should be here probably sometime in the next week. That is, it's a platinum figure, but it's like the red platinum, which is something new that McFarlane came out with. They're really hard figures to find. And here in Canada, I haven't been able to find that figure anywhere. I can't pre-order it. Doesn't seem like something that's just going to show up anywhere. So I took it upon myself to go on eBay, and I got the cheapest one that I could possibly find. So that's coming. I got Michael Keaton's Batman. I already have that figure with the Batmobile, and I also have that figure in my I have like it's like all the Batmans. McFarlane did like a set where it's all the live action Batmans from the movies. I have a Michael Keaton in that as well, but this is like a standalone Michael Keaton figure. So I purchased that. That's coming in. No, sorry. It was something I purchased on Amazon, but I saw it was cheaper at GameStop. So when that came back in stock, I purchased it from GameStop. So going to be picking that up in a couple weeks. And I also got Batman Begins Batman, which the suit's a little bit different than the Dark Knight suit, which I already have the Dark Knight suit. So those are three things that are going to be coming in the near future to the Man Cave Arcade. And then I know they're doing a Riddler from Batman Forever. It's the end suit that he wore, which was kind of like a shimmery silver suit with the green question marks, and then his hair was kind of like up a little different. They're doing that suit, so I'm gonna pick that up. That will go with my other Riddler that I have from McFarlane. I'm pretty sure they are going to be doing the Justice League Batmobile. I've seen that kind of leaked a couple times, so I think I will get my wish with that. But the rest, it's all kind of up in the air. So hopefully I do get all the figures I'm looking for, but time will tell. Another thing that I've been doing, so my 3-year-old has really been getting into video games, but he's kind of at that stage where he just obviously like he doesn't really know what he's doing quite yet, but he's kind of getting the hang of, like, okay, after he plays a couple times, like, oh, if I hit this button, okay, he's jumping. If I hit this button, he's moving. Like, he's starting to kind of get the control scheme of some of these games that we're playing. And the one game that he kind of wanted to try out was Donkey Kong Country Returns. And that's because he knew Donkey Kong from the Super Mario movie. And he also knew Donkey Kong from my 60-in-1 cocktail table. Though Donkey Kong obviously looks a little different than that. But he knew that Donkey Kong was something that was video game related. So I had told him that that his dad used to play Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. It was the first game I ever got for the Super Nintendo. It came bundled in, and it was a game that I just spent a lot of time playing. Really enjoyed myself playing that game, and it really has kind of like a special place in my childhood, because there's just so much nostalgia connected to that game, and just playing it with friends and family. And so seeing Donkey Kong Country Returns, I was not familiar with the game. I know that game supposedly came out for like the Wii or the Wii U, but I had never played it. So seeing that it was coming out on the Switch, as like an HD version, it was kind of a new thing to me. So with my son being interested in it, I picked it up. I got it a little bit cheaper than the regular price, just because I knew somebody at GameStop that kind of hooked me up a little bit. Said that they were going to be selling it for the used price, so it kind of helped the situation as far as like, okay, maybe I will leave with this game. And since then, me and my son, whenever we have a little bit of time, I would say probably like every 3 days, we'll play a little Donkey Kong Country Returns. And I've really enjoyed playing that game. Number one, because of the nostalgia, and just some of the levels have some of the same songs. They really took a lot of elements of some of the levels and included it in some of the other levels that are within this game. I've really kind of enjoyed some of the difficulty of the game, because it's a difficulty where you really have to kind of learn the level to kind of finally beat some of these levels. So you have to kind of do it a couple times, but it's not hard enough where you get discouraged and not want to play anymore. And then, just playing it with my son, it's really special because, again, I played Donkey Kong Country as a kid, with my brother and with my friends and family. And now, playing it with my son, it's it's kind of gone full circle. And, it's this newer version of this IP that, I've really kind of grown with over time. So really cool game. I really recommend it for anybody that's a Donkey Kong fan. Again, if you are a Donkey Kong fan, chances are you've probably played this game back in the day. But if you're like somebody like me that was kind of like a little bit more of like a casual gamer after, a certain time in their life, and, you're maybe slowly kind of discovering, gaming again, with, gaming with your kids and stuff like that. Maybe you haven't played Donkey Kong Country Returns like I hadn't played it, and this will be a new experience for you, like it's a new experience for me. So, terrific game, really enjoying it. I've gotten, I'd probably say about 3/4 into the game now, and obviously, really enjoying it. And from there, after we're done this game, if it is something that my son kind of wants to continue playing, we'll obviously get the next game, which is I know technically on Switch it came out first, but it's the prequel, I believe. So we'll probably pick up that game next if things keep on going the way they're going with Donkey Kong Country Returns. Other than that, kind of just been again just doing the parenting thing. Been very busy in this household. I finally went back to work, so kind of getting used to the kind of balance of the work and taking care of the kids and trying to find some time to spend with my wife and seeing family and friends whenever I try to get the opportunity to. It's just been pretty busy. Whenever I do get a little time for myself, big wrestling fan, so I've been trying to follow WWE, the whole John Cena turn thing. He cut a really great promo on Raw for his reasoning of why he's turned on the fans. Really enjoyed that. Really looking forward to WrestleMania. I've been trying to kind of follow UFC as well, being a big MMA fan. There was just a pay-per-view about a week or two ago, and then they got a really good fight night card this Saturday. It's my weekend off, so hopefully I'll be able to catch that. I just been kind of trying to watch things here and there if I get some time. 9 times out of 10 I fall asleep on the couch because I work evenings, so I'm usually home around 11 o'clock at night. I work 3 to 11, in a healthcare job, so I get home, want a little time to myself. Next thing you know, I'm sleeping on the couch. It's a vicious circle, but it's the way it goes. Anyways, my voice is starting to get sore, so to me that means I've talked enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I've enjoyed coming down here, just kind of hanging out with you guys for a little while. I know I'm not going to get a lot of opportunities to do this, so the fact that I was able to do it today, I feel privileged, and I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I think it's probably the longest podcast I've done, but I've talked about a lot of fun things that have kind of, been of interest to me that I just wanted to kind of share with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Take care. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys. I can't even say the next one. I'll see you guys whenever, because I don't know when the next one is, but I'm sure there will be a next one at some point, and maybe it might be like a video about the Basic Fun, products. Maybe it might be a video about that pinball table that Wonderland Amusements is doing. Maybe it'll be about my McFarlane collection. Who knows? But either way, there will be another video at some point. Take care, you guys. Have a fantastic day. And again, appreciate you guys watching the podcast. Take care.